His stock market for the first 100 days is the lowest since Nixon. He has the lowest approval rating of any president of the last 70 years for the first 100 days. 69% say he's not focused enough on lowering prices. 62% focus too much on tariffs.
Let's hop into Fox News The 5 with Jessica Tarlov having to shut down the 4 Fox News MAGA co-hosts. But if you can first take a moment, like the video, it helps us out a ton. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back after with the much needed context.
The American public knows exactly what's going on, and that's why they're soundly rejecting this administration. He has the lowest approval rating of any president of the last 70 years for the first 100 days. His stock market for the first 100 days is the lowest since Nixon. Unprecedented low foreign policy approval rating and economic approval rating. The American public is smart enough to know that their shelves, if they're not already empty, are going to be empty because of tariffs. 69% say he's not focused enough on lowering prices. 62% focus too much on tariffs. 72% think his policies will cause a recession. 64% disapprove of how he's handling inflation. He continues to beat a drum that is making the absolute worst economic music I have ever heard in my entire life.
It paints a pretty clear picture of the American people having buyer's remorse when poll after poll, report after report shows negative sentiment and wholly rejecting the failure, the agenda of this administration. I mean, it's been a complete political economic collapse. Unfortunately, voters seem to have short-term memory loss, and with COVID setting us on a terrible economic trajectory, obviously they voted Trump out for this reason, so Biden came in, and then the stink of it was like a cloud on the Democrats. They seem to forget that before that, Trump had sent us into a manufacturing recession with his terrible tariff policies. He was consistently underperforming job numbers of Obama. We saw an increase in inflation from where he came in, from where Obama left it, and he had below average GDP numbers with business investment dropping. He was bad for the economy then too. He just started in an objectively better place than Biden. So it kind of shows how a lot of people don't understand causation and correlation, is because Trump started here with his presidency and Biden started here because of what they both inherited. People were like, well, then Trump is better.
He's underwater in terms of immigration overall, because the American people also know that due process matters. And that when you have an administration that is acting lawlessly, because people who are here undocumented do actually have a right to go in front of a judge and to have their case heard, that Abrego Garcia should be returned. And then if you want to deport him right back out, that is your prerogative. But when I'm listening to the spin about this, 92% negative coverage, and then I think back to how you guys were talking about the Democrats before, when Biden used to get up there and say, no, everything's great, right? And you said, how could he possibly do that? He's saying egg prices are great. Gas is great. Take a lesson out of your own playbook and admit that this is going badly. Take the L. The Democrats are up 4 to 7 points on the generic ballot. Do you think that that means that Donald Trump is doing a good job?
And it's moments like this that Republicans instantly lose all credibility, because they pretended for years that Biden was a terrible president for doing what Trump is doing right now with objectively worse economic metrics. It seems there actually isn't anything Trump can do at this point 100 days in that doesn't immediately fail or fall apart, from cutting government spending to immigration, foreign policy to economically. I mean, he's completely lost the support of the American people. Those outside of the coal, every time I say this, there's some MAGA who's like, not me. Yeah, we get it. You guys would suck him off if he asked you to. But those in the middle, those who actually, care and are objective, are feeling it, rightfully so, by the way. And again, those who are still defending him, they've lost all credibility in showing that you're just not objective. You're not honest brokers. You're instead just someone who's going to carry water for anything with Trump's name on it.
In Sackett's Harbor, New York, which is dairy country, Trump won it by huge margins. An undocumented woman and her 3 children were picked up by ICE erroneously. They actually had a warrant for someone who lived within the same Wi-Fi zone as this family. And the town rallied on their behalf. 1,000 people came out and marched for them, including a lot of Trump supporters. And ICE returned them, even after Tom Homan had defended the decision. So there is power in your voice. They were completely peaceful, but they showed that this isn't the way that we do things in America, and that innocent people shouldn't be swept up in what they're doing. So That's the kind of stuff that Pritzker's
And then
talking
also,
about.
but it,
And that's because there's plenty of people in this world that, despite their view on immigration, maybe they want less, whatever, they still understand that if we start walking around and picking people up without warrants, without notice, we just start shipping out US citizen children, some who have cancer, shipping out people without due process, shipping out legal residents with no criminal reason, shipping out people on accidents to what are essentially torture camps, that, hey, like, maybe we're going a step too far. And I'm sorry to tell you, but to think anything but would have to be fueled by racial means or some nationalistic view that seems pretty neo-Nazi-like to me. Trump is just targeting immigration at this point, not criminals. And immigration is a net benefit for any country. So not only is it racist, but it's also just incredibly stupid.